Pete Hegseth isn't just a drunk idiot, he is also an idiot. Just an idiot. A criminal idiot who thought he could get away with insider trading and corrupt practices while running the Pentagon. But no, Pete, I know you're stupid, but you should just be a little bit smarter than that. And he was also not smart enough to fend off those questions when confronted in the Senate by Elizabeth Warren for the crimes that he has committed. For the crimes that he has allowed to be committed at the Pentagon, which it seems Pete is a really big fucking fan of. So that's fantastic. But this was just such a delicious clip. And this is day 2 of Hegseth's grilling. This wasn't what took place in the House. This happened moments ago. You're going to want to watch every second of it. And then we have another great Pete humiliation after. So do stick around.
So Americans are paying a high price for Donald Trump's war with Iran. We've got 14 service members who are dead, over 400 more who are wounded. Prices are rising for nearly every American family. But someone is profiting off Trump's war. Insiders who know what's going on and who place bets on that inside information. On March 23rd, just 14 minutes before Trump unexpectedly posted about, quote, very good conversations on ending the war, traders suddenly bet $500 million on the price of oil, which, once Trump made his announcement, immediately dropped. It happened again on April 7th, and then again on April 21st, a surge in oil bets, then a Trump post, and then a huge shift in oil prices in just the space of minutes. It looks like insiders have been making out like bandits, using secret information about the war. Now, one U.S. soldier has been charged, but that was for betting on capturing Maduro months ago. Not a single person has been charged in the many trades over the Middle East war. So, Secretary Hegseth, do you have any explanation for these perfectly timed spikes in trading activity other than insider trading?
Senator, all I can tell you is that everything we've done in our department, everything we've done with information, in working with the White House and across the interagency has been completely above board.
Well, so what does it mean? Do you have any other explanation other than insider trading? Do you have a story for why just minutes before there's an announcement, there's a surge in trading activity?
Senator, I'm more than focused on doing my job and ensuring we execute properly, which thankfully, under this administration, our troops have done incredible things in all these missions. My job in all of those moments is to make sure we're prepared. And that's part of the reason why we've been so successful in these raids, in these efforts, is that this joint force is prepared.
You're saying you're not paying any attention to this insider trading. Is that what you're telling me? That you've paid no attention to this? You haven't noticed it? You haven't done anything about it?
What I'm saying is we're focused on our mission of executing for the American people, and what happens in markets is not, in betting markets is not something we're involved in.
What happens in betting markets doesn't matter to you, even if the information may be coming from insiders in your office?
Senator, it's not something we're involved in at all. And of course, we take operational security at every level very seriously. In fact, no one's taken operational security more seriously than us. If you look at what it required to keep secret Midnight Hammer and Operation Maduro, the absolute resolve with Maduro, and the steps we've taken, so no one's been tighter about ensuring that operational security is ensured.
Have you taken any steps to deal with insider trading out of your office?
I mean, we would ensure at every level that inside information is
I take that as a no.
Properly safeguarded.
All right. Well, obviously you're not. I'm also concerned about recent reporting on your own financial dealings with regard to profiting from the war in Iran. The Financial Times reported that your broker tried to buy hundreds of shares in a BlackRock fund invested in defense companies just before the war began. The law clearly prohibits the Secretary.
That entire story is false, has been from the beginning, and was made up out of whole cloth. And anybody that looks at it sees how it was worded from the beginning to make it look like I was involved in something I had nothing to do and never have. So any insinuation that I've ever profited, other than serving this nation, what What I give, what you give, what others give, I'm not looking for money. I don't do it for money. I don't do it for profit. I don't do it for stocks. And that's part of the reason why I'm able to be effective in this job, because
Then
no
let
one
me
owns
ask
me.
my
No one owns this
question,
department. No one
Secretary
owns this
Hegseth.
president, and we
Let
can
me
execute
ask
for the
my
American people,
question.
and we
The
do.
law clearly prohibits the Secretary of Defense from owning stock in the 10 biggest defense contractors. Other senators and I sent you a letter with detailed questions about this, and you have not given us a response. So I'd like to hear you say, did you, through your broker at Morgan Stanley or otherwise, seek to invest in any defense-related funds right before Trump started the Iran war?
I'll give it to you as a big, fat negative.
Then let me ask you a second question. Is your broker getting your personal sign-off on any investment in individual stocks?
Bigger, fatter negative.
He's not getting your sign-off before he makes investments in defense stocks? Can I refer you to your
I'm not
ethics
making investments,
agreement?
Senator.
I am asking, does he know that he has to get your sign-off before he does that?
Of course.
The
I
time
don't know what
of
you're
the
looking for, but you
senator
ain't going to
has
find it.
expired. Thank you. Thank you, Senator.
I would like to enter into the record the ethics agreement that the Secretary of Defense has signed, that he will sign off personally before his broker makes any attempt to buy defense stocks.
Is there objection?
Thank you.
Without objection, it will be admitted.
Absolutely incredible work. And honestly, this is exactly what we as Democrats should be focused on. I want to circle back to Pete, but first, I have to talk about Senator Jon Ossoff. He dropped a powerful ad yesterday outlining the truth. Corruption on both sides of the aisle is what has ruined this country, making life unaffordable and broken for everyone. That's the issue we need to tackle right now. Is there a better story than pointing out that the military-industrial complex isn't just benefiting the defense secretary, it's owning the defense secretary. It's absolutely crazy. It's such an easy story to tell, and I'm glad Elizabeth Warren started breaking it down. But listen, the levels of corruption we're seeing now, they go far beyond anything anyone could have imagined during this Trump administration. It's not even a competition anymore. Now, I'm not saying this to equate one side with the other. I'm just telling you the truth. We know it's the truth. Pete Hegseth's corruption is truly unfathomable. The fact that he thought he could get away with this tells you everything we need to know. It goes back to something I always say. These people hate us the most, especially their own supporters. They think they're stupid. And yeah, let's call it like it is. They're willing to blindly buy into whatever they're sold. They think it's fine because the Democrats do it too, or they'll throw around names like Nancy Pelosi to deflect. But this isn't even close. Not even. When you're talking about insider trading, especially when the guy running the Pentagon is doing it, that is a massive conflict of interest. What are you talking about? Buying defense ETFs? That isn't just corruption, it's a national security risk. If adversaries find out our defense secretary is gaming the market off of classified intel, that's insane. It's wild. But Hegseth has committed way more than just one or two missteps during his tenure. So of course he continues to be grilled. And he should be.
Gentlemen, you're here to ask for $1.5 trillion, 40% more than what we gave you last year, $1 trillion. And I agree with the chairman of this committee that the world has never been more dangerous and complicated. And regardless of whether we disagree on the reasons for getting into this war, I think we can all agree that we want our military to come out of it safely and successfully and as soon as feasible. The military has taken, the administration has taken military action in 10 different places in the world in 15 months, more than any president in U.S. history. I think President Trump has really become a foreign policy president. And many of those operations, were on the news for a couple of days, but then the American public didn't feel them. And I think the difference with this war with Iran is that the American public is feeling it in their pocketbooks. Gas in Michigan is $4.99 today. The cost of fertilizer, of airline tickets, things that are real to people. Secretary Hegseth, the president said that you were most keen on this war. He said that you were the most gung-ho about it. I think despite us all wanting to come out of this successfully, it is hard to miss that we are at the stalemate, that we don't control the Strait of Hormuz because shipping is not getting through. And we can block what they're trying to get through, but nothing is moving, and it's costing the American public. And I think that's a fundamentally different moment than the rest of the military action we've taken. Even in like Middle East 101 class, we used to talk about and run war games on the Strait of Hormuz. It's a strategic geography that the Iranians have. And I think it's just concerning to me that we can try and tell the American people that it's going great and we're killing it, but until the Strait of Hormuz is open, I don't think we can credibly say that with any seriousness. I think the question I have for you, though, is future looking, and it's our 2026 elections. The president has been very clear. He said in the State of the Union that essentially if his side doesn't win, then the election was rigged. He said that before the 2020 election. He's asked for voter rolls for 29 different states. He just asked for Detroit's votes or ballots. And we know that in 2020, he wrote an executive order that he didn't sign that said to the U.S. military, to the Secretary of Defense, you should go and seize ballots and voting machines. A few months ago, he said that he regretted that he didn't sign that executive order. So the U.S. military has never been deployed. You incorrectly said yesterday that they were deployed during different elections. Governors deployed them under their authorities, but the federal government has never put the uniformed military at our polls during World War II, right after 9/11. We've never had to do that. So Secretary Hegseth, if the president, who regrets not signing that executive order to the then SecDef in 2020, asks you to seize ballots or voting machines in states during the 2026 election, will you stand up for the Constitution and say no, or will you salute and do his bidding?
Senator, I didn't get a chance to answer the front part of your question, which, there was a lot of deferred maintenance under the Biden administration that needed to be addressed because the world was in chaos when President Trump was elected.
Just address the election issue, please.
Well, again, that's
the most important thing. It's what's happening.
It's yet another gotcha hypothetical, which is your specialty.
It's not. We had an executive order
under the Biden administration in 2024.
It's not a hypothetical. I refuse to accept. You give that answer all the time. You and I have done this dance before. Get over it, okay? In 2020, he's the president, your boss, the guy you're performing for right now, told the journalists this year that he wished he signed that executive order to your predecessor. And your predecessor said publicly, thank God, we didn't actually go forward with it. What are you going to do? You're the guy here in the seat. It's not hypothetical. Tell the American people, will you deploy the uniformed military to our polls to collect voter rolls or machines?
Are you accusing me of performing? Because you're performing for cable news right now.
But
just
Mr.
answer the
Secretary,
question.
we have
It's a hypothetical. By the way, in 2024, under the Biden administration, 15 states did deploy
under
troops
their
to polling
governor's
stations.
authority, when their governors asked for it.
What did Joe Biden say about that?
That's fundamentally, I don't think anything, because he needed them for cybersecurity and for COVID. Trump did it too, under Trump. But it was not the federal decision. It was those governors of the states under their authorities, okay? It's never been done in our history. Please stand up for the Constitution. Do not send uniformed military to our polls.
Do you have a response to that portion of the question, Mr. Secretary?
I've never been ordered to do anything illegal, and I won't. That goes without saying.
Thank you for the...
Pete Hegseth is a national embarrassment. Honestly, I don't understand how anyone can take this guy seriously for a single second. He's a child. He acts like a child. He was sitting there through his testimony yesterday and today, laughing and cracking jokes like the whole thing is a game. And why? Because he thinks he's performing for an audience of one, Donald Trump. And I'm sick and tired of it. It is gross, it is pathetic, and we are going to call it out on this show every single day until he is gone. He needs to be fired immediately. He's a smug, entitled criminal who belongs in a courtroom, not the Pentagon. He needs to be prosecuted and find himself a nice little cell next to Stephen Miller in an alligator Alcatraz. Your war crimes will have consequences, Pete. We aren't going to let this slide. If you want to support the work we are doing here to hold these people accountable, hit that subscribe button right now. Leave a like on this video to help us reach more people. And if you're one of the real ones who stuck around until the very end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Do not let them silence you. I'm Liam Prescott, and I'll see you in the next one.